Good evening and welcome. You're watching the Newshour agenda. I'm Padmaja Joshi. Did the first Prime Minister of India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, get a Sengol on the 14th of August 1947? He did. What was the purpose of this ceremony? Based on historical records, the government has said that the purpose of the transfer of the Sengol was to show a symbolic transfer of power. Now, the Congress has come out and called this claim bogus. Quoting from a news analysis piece in the Hindu newspaper, the Congress said that the new parliament is being consecrated with false narratives from WhatsApp University and that claims about Sengol being a symbol of transfer of power are plain and simple bogus. In fact, Congress MP Jairam Ramesh also said that the Sengol is being used by the Prime Minister and his drum beaters for their political ends in Tamil Nadu, typical of the brigade that embroiders facts to suit its twisted objectives. The BJP took this claim by the Congress as an attack on Indian culture itself. Home Minister Amit Shah asked, why does the Congress hate Indian traditions so much and why are the Adhinam's history being dismissed as bogus? Others linked it to the Congress's past stand on Ram Setu, the practice of Jallikat and coinage of saffron terror to assert that the party's first instinct is to run down everything associated with Hinduism and India's heritage.
मैं आज हिंदुस्तान के हर नागरिक से पूछती हूं, धर्म, आस्था, लोकतंत्र, संवैधानिक प्रणाली की एक विशिष्ट प्रमाण को इस प्रकार से वॉकिंग स्टिक बताना क्या ये नहीं दर्शाता कि गांधी खानदान वाकई में हमारे देश के इतिहास, हमारे देश के लोकतंत्र के बारे में क्या सोचता है?
ये आर्टिकल अमेरिका की टाइम मैगजीन का जो इशू था 25 अगस्त 1947 में छपा था। मैं चाहूंगा इसमें हमारे जो मित्र लोग हैं राजनीतिक दलों में जो इस विषय पे विरोध कर रहे हैं वो इस आर्टिकल को पढ़ें और थोड़ी जानकारी लें कि सेंगोल की क्या सिंबोलिज्म है, 1947 में क्या हुआ है और अभी ये जो विरोध का नाटक है वो इसके कारण वो अपने लोगों पंडित जवाहरलाल नेहरू का भी एक तरीके से विरोध कर रहे हैं।
Now, in fact, all of these claims are based on an article that appeared in a newspaper which had spoken. Let's take a look at the article on whose basis the Congress called the claims about the Sengol bogus. The article says there's ample evidence that a delegation sent by the head of the Adhinam presented the scepter to Nehru. Evidence is thin on the government's claim that this presenting of the scepter was treated by the leaders and the then government as symbolic transfer of power. It then adds, reports from the Hindu briefly recorded the presentation of a scepter, but none spoke of it as being a symbol of transfer of power. When Time magazine on August 25, 1945 spoke about the head pontiff's idea of the scepter as a symbol of power, it doesn't speak about Nehru reciprocating the same idea. Now, I'll be honest with you, I really laughed after I had read all these articles being offered as a fact check on the government's claim on the Sengol. Because at the end of it, here is the gist of this so-called fact check. 1. That the Sengol was given to Pandit Nehru, but it wasn't given as a symbol of power transfer. What it was offered as a symbol of, that nobody is explaining. Then this fact check says that the priests who conducted the ceremony did acknowledge that it was a symbol of power, but Pandit Nehru didn't reciprocate that feeling. How these fact checkers have managed to peek into the soul of Pandit Nehru 70 years hence to determine exactly how he felt about the Sengol and what he thought it was a symbol of, again, nobody has explained that to us. And finally, this selective fact-checking completely ignores other writings that have taken place since that clearly speak of the firm and intent of the function. On a serious note, the question then we are left with is, why? Why has this objection been made? What is its purpose? Is this another one of those pointless debates of the kind we had about the national emblem, where days were spent arguing about why the lions in the national emblem on top of the parliament are snarling instead of smiling? Is this argument for argument's sake, or betrays a deeper discomfort with any acknowledgement of a cultural and ritualistic history of our country that is inextricably woven with any significant moment in our civilization?
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
All right, joining us on the debate, Tuhin Sinha, national spokesperson of the BJP, Hindol Sengupta, author and historian, Dr. Suman C. Raman, political analyst, Lokesh Jindal, leader of the Congress. And let me at the outset say I'm a little embarrassed for all of us that we are sitting here having this debate, which frankly is a pretty facile one. Because at the end of the day, Lokesh Jindal, what we are basically debating is the scepter was given, but it was not given as a symbol of transfer of power. So at the end of the day, can you please answer that $1 million 70-year-old question? What is the scepter a symbol of?
Yes. Padmaja, in medieval times, what used to happen that on the basis of religious text, a king was supposed to perform his duties. And therefore, as a symbolism that all your source of legitimacy is derived from religion, a religious symbol was handed over to that king. So the entire symbol itself was like a check on the king that all your laws, all your decisions must be in accordance to the religious scriptures.
Okay.
So, but presently, if you talk about the present government, we have a constitution. A constitution is a secular document.
I know all of that. I don't need a civics lesson. My question is limited to the objections being raised. My question is, when the Congress today is saying, oh, this is not given as a symbol of exchange of power or transfer of power.
Absolutely, absolutely.
What is it a symbol of?
Yes, so transfer of power was executed on the basis of Indian Independence Act, which was passed in the British Parliament. Subsequently, there was a ceremonial procedure and the power was handed over to the English. You tend to say that the entire source of authority rested in the symbolism of this scepter.
Nobody said that. Who has said that? All that is said is this was
a complete transfer of power taking place.
Sir, I don't think you understand the meaning of the word symbolic. Nobody said the complete transfer of power happened through a scepter. That would be the most foolish thing to say. If you could transfer power through a scepter, then wars wouldn't be fought. It is a symbolic transfer of power, which is literally what was said. All of today we have been debating, oh, this scepter is not a symbol of transfer of power. Then please answer me, what is it a symbol of?
It was a gift that was presented to Jawaharlal Nehru on the eve of
It was a gift. Because when riots are taking place across the country, 15 minutes before midnight, the to-be Prime Minister of our country was receiving gifts.
When that ceremony happened at that point of time, all over India, there were all forms of symbols, expressions which were gifted to the Prime Minister for the special occasion day. And it was one of them. But then to accord it some form of a special status associated with India's independence, giving it a symbolic value unnecessarily, trying to politicize it is something which is
political?
Not...
How is it political before you made it political? All that was said was in 1947 this happened. This is the Sengol. We'll put it in Parliament. Now it is Mr. Jairam Ramesh who linked it to BJP wanting to expand in Tamil Nadu. How BJP will expand in Tamil Nadu because the Sengol is in Parliament? Lord alone knows.
What BJP is promoting, that the scepter promotes an idea of Raj Dand. Gone are the days of Raj Dand. Gone is a Raja. And there is no Raj Dand now. There is constitution and the Prime Minister is not the Raja. If you have to have the scepter ceremony done, you have to call the President, who's the head of the state, and you have to hand it over to her. Did the Prime Minister say,
I will become the Raja on 28th of May?
That's what the problem with the BJP is. The
BJP but who said he will become the Raja, bhai?
After that, they come up with Rajasuya Yagya.
Literally nobody before you or after you has said that Prime Minister will become Raja. If somebody would say it, then they would be laughed at.
So that's what's laughable. Why? Because you are suddenly bringing about a traditional ceremony and trying to revive it. Then again, you will want to. Now, Padmaja, you told about the emblem of Ashok, on which we have the emblem and the 4 lions are there. Do you even know what was the symbolism associated with those 4 emblems?
Okay, I am not going to go into the national emblem. Okay, you know, I think the last 4 minutes have displayed just how idiotic this entire debate is around the Sengol. But the more deeper question is, why was this debate started, Hindol Sengupta? Is it to try and discount the symbolism of what is at the end of the day a cultural symbol? The scepter stands for something. Why did Nehruji have to undergo this entire ceremony? That must remain blacked out. Hindol Sengupta.
Let me say, before I go into your question, one of the reasons why we have to have these debates in our country still is evidenced by the beginning of what Lokesh Jindal began to say. He began by saying in medieval times, well, the Cholas are not part of our medieval history, they're part of our ancient history. Fundamentally, Indians don't even know what is their medieval history, what is their ancient history. Therefore, they don't even know what is their current history. They have no idea what is their contemporary history.
That's early medieval
this is very sad. It's a tragic evidence. It's a tragic evidence of how sad India's debates are.
Okay, one at a time. One at a time. I always appreciate the beauty of TV debates where a historian and author is being told to get his historical facts right. But that aside, let's just 30 seconds let him speak, then I'll give you a chance to rebut. Go on.
It's very simple. The Sengol has nothing to do with, oh, means we are a monarchy. Not at all. Every country in the world has certain civilizational or cultural, even if they are not a large civilization, cultural emblems that they hold dear. Naturally, this emblem which the Chola kings used, and indeed there's been a historian who's come out and said that in fact the Chola kings used to risk their lives to defend this emblem. This emblem does not stand for the monarchy. Please, let's understand. This emblem stands for the fact that whoever governs must do so in a just manner. It stands for wisdom and justice. It stands for, unless it offends some people in your panel, it stands for dharma. That is what it stands for. It doesn't make the person who receives it a king at all. It didn't make Nehru the king. It will not make Modi a king. Back in the days, the Roman emperors, when they would come back from great victories, there would be somebody whispering in their ear, memento mori, you too are human. This is a reminder that you must be just, you must be, somebody who's equitable to the people you govern. It is that symbol of dharma. Now, if somebody is unhappy about that, that's very sad. That is all it is. I don't think we need to go into a deeper debate on this. It is true that some people somehow don't like anything that connects us to our dharmic and our civilizational context.
Hit the nail on the head. Is that what the discomfort is about? Dr. Sumansi Raman, the idea that there was a dharmic ritual that Panditji participated in.
Allow me to answer him. Padmaja,
hold on, let Dr. Sumansi Raman also say a few words.
No, allow me to answer.
Okay, answer. Lokesh Jindal, go on. Yes, don't be incensed.
Sir, if you are a historian, you must be knowing the 4 sources of law as has been portrayed by Kautilya in the Artha Shastra. It includes Raj Shasan, Dharma Shasan, Vyavahar, and the customs. Now, over here, when we talk about Raj Shasan, Raj Dand, over here, Kautilya clearly stated that if in case there was any limitation by the Dharma Shasan, at that point of time, the king at his discretion could legislate, promulgate a law that was called as Raj Shasan. So secondly, when this entire scepter you're talking about, it is in the 9th and 10th century that the Chola Empire, which was a form of a monarchy, where this particular tradition was being executed, which used to call themselves as, Surya Vamshis. Over there, they all took the vow that all their laws will be in accordance to the laws as has been mentioned by the Periya Puranam. So when you're talking about monarchy, madam, the point is you are trying to revive a medieval custom and tradition and trying to link it forcefully in a modern politico-democratic system. Now tell me one thing, how can...
Who is trying to revive a
custom
medieval
and a
custom.
tradition
Nobody
that
is
is
saying
linked
that
to
Rahul Gandhi is
monarchy
going to
in the early
get into a
medieval
fight
times
unto
has
death with the
any
Prime
relevance in
Minister.
modern polity?
And then he's going to get the Kingdom
So
of
tell me
India. Who
something,
is reviving
today
what?
the head-
What
Is
tradition?
today the Prime Minister legitimized by religious texts or via elections?
Obviously by
What
elections.
significance-
Why is that even
so
a
what
question?
significance does a religious scepter has in a modern
Literally,
democratic
no one
polity?
is saying that this legitimizes him. Has anyone said that this legitimizes
So
him?
when you are talking about symbolism of Raj Shasan, Raj Danda, and you are giving all this glory of wisdom and all these forms, what are you trying to inculcate? What are you trying
You
to
are trying
hint
to
at?
say that this was a tradition
Values, these are our
and
civilization
traditionally we are
values.
going to put the
Custom
Sengol
which
inside
prevailed in
Parliament,
early
sir.
medieval times,
Nobody is saying that
and
we
it
are going
does
to
not
pass on the
any-
Kingdom of India
Why
from
would
the
that
BJP
be
to the
time?
Congress
Why
through a
politicize
duel
this?
between two people. Anyway, I think again we have gone in that direction. But the more specific question that I wanted to come to you with, Dr. Suman Siraman, was, is the discomfort with the idea of a dharmic tradition like Hindol Sen Gupta said? That's why we've had this whole pointless debate.
No, Padmaja, I don't know if you are aware, but in the last few hours, Rajaji's grandson Rajmohan Gandhi, who also happens to be his biographer, has said he's never heard of this story. So I
But
don't
he
know
not
why
hearing
we
about
need
it
to
doesn't
come
mean
up
it
with
doesn't
all
exist.
kinds of WhatsApp University.
I am
He's the
perfectly
biographer.
aware. I am
he
perfectly
says
aware.
He has never
I am
heard
perfectly
of this
aware
Rajaji
Rajmohan Gandhi
asking
has
for-
said it because Jairam Ramesh has tweeted it, which you've
you're
gone and
perfectly
dutifully
aware.
read,
Now,
as
okay,
have I.
two points.
But I have
Look,
also
where
gone
did
and
this
read
start?
a few
Where
other
did this
sources.
start?
Let
One
me
second,
quote
one
to you
second.
because it's very easy to derisively
No,
say,
no.
oh, this is from WhatsApp University.
Where did the
Hold on a
Time
second.
magazine
Now hold
ever
on just
say
a
it
second.
represented
Hold on just a
transfer of
second.
power?
Since you asked, let me quote to you things which are not from WhatsApp University or Twitter. Here is D.F. Karaka, Betrayal of India, London 1950. It says, in the evening, the priests walked ahead of these religious processions. They carried the scepter, the holy water which they had brought with them from Tanjore, and rice. They laid their gifts at the feet of the Prime Minister. Holy ash was marked on Panditji's forehead, and the priest gave them his blessings. Then Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar, who I'm sure you would agree is not from WhatsApp University, says, in Writings and Speeches, Volume 1, listen to me, sir, hold on.
At all.
Volume 1, page published by Education Department, Government of Maharashtra.
Jawaharlal Nehru received the scepter.
He did. So then what's the problem? You
There
just
is
said,
no dispute
Rajmohan Gandhi
that
said
he
he has
received
never
the
heard of it.
scepter.
He's
But
never heard
this
of it
whole
doesn't mean it
story
didn't
of
happen.
Transfer of, it symbolizes the transfer of power. Padmaja, 1 minute. There is no dispute that Jawaharlal Nehru received the scepter from the Adinam's representative. There
Okay.
is no doubt about it.
Okay.
The matter ended there.
Right.
This symbolized transfer of power. Mountbatten said give it. Rajaji said this should be the right way of transferring power. WhatsApp University on overdrive, on
So now
steroids.
so hold on. Now we are
Why,
quibbling.
Padmaja? Why?
Again, we are back to the original quibble that this doesn't symbolize transfer of power, correct?
There's no original quibbling. Why?
Symbol of power, right? Symbol
No,
of
no,
power.
this whole Rajaji said that Mountbatten must give it.
That didn't happen, you are saying.
Mountbatten will hand it over.
That didn't
Nehruji
happen?
will receive it.
That didn't happen.
Well, if it happened, there is no evidence for it.
Okay.
Where is the evidence?
Okay. Point number 1. Now, whether the handing over happened as a symbol
Did you
of
read the Hindu article?
Can I?
Did you read the Hindu
I have read the Hindu
Padmaja?
article. I actually quoted it in detail in
no,
my
the
opening
Hindu-
comments as well.
Huh.
And the Hindu article also, before I go into
there's
Hindu
a bit
article,
there
because they
about
have ignored.
WhatsApp.
Hold on
There's
a second,
also a
Dr.
bit there
Suman
about-
Siraman. Let me quote to you more
is-
relevant articles.
Mohan's-
Here is Dominic
the
Lapierre
well-known Tamil
and
writer
Larry
Jay Mohan.
Collins, Freedom at Midnight. Here's what they say. One of the two bore a massive silver platter upon which was folded a swath of white silk streaked in gold, the pitambaram, the cloth of God. The other carried a 5-foot scepter, a flask of holy water from the Tanjore river, a pouch of sacred ash. As once Hindu holy men had conferred upon India's kings their symbol of power, so the sannyasi had come to York Road to bestow their antique emblems of authority on the man about to assume the leadership of a modern Indian nation. Symbols of power. This is Dominic Lapierre and what he has said in his book.
Dominic, where does it say, Padmaja, I don't know if you're, whether you are, I'm sure you know what it means, and yet you still want to pursue this down this path. Look, Mr. Lapierre and Collins say that this scepter in the good old days used to symbolize something.
What?
But nowhere.
Symbolize what?
In any
No,
evidence,
something
if it is
what
there,
did it
I haven't
symbolize?
seen it yet. Symbolizes the transfer of power. Mountbatten said.
What
he
does
will
it symbolize?
Give. Then from Mountbatten they
Don't
took
beat
it and
around
gave
the
it
bush.
to Nehru.
What
Nehru
did the
accepted
scepter
it
symbolize?
as a symbol of transfer
If
of power.
the scepter
Where
did not
all of this
symbolize
come
power,
from?
what did it symbolize?
Where did all this come from?
What did it symbolize?
The scepter symbolizes power. Who is disputing that? Who is disputing
You just
that?
disputed
We
it.
are talking about the rest of the story, which seems to be cooked up. Where is the evidence?
Dr.
for it?
Suman
Even
Siraman,
the
you have
Adinam
just
this
accepted
evening
that
at
you
the
agree
press
the
debate.
transfer took place.
He says
the transfer
first
took
he
place
says-
as a transfer of power. So I don't
Transfer did
understand
not.
what are you even arguing?
Mountbatten, where is the photograph of Mountbatten? Where is Mountbatten receiving this? Where is the photo of Mountbatten and then saying, please give it to Nehru as
All
a
right.
symbol of transfer?
Tuin
of power.
Sinha,
Please
you have
produce
given
the
all
evidence.
photos. You have given photos of Nehruji. You have given photos of the Adhinam. The Adhinams, by the way, have issued a statement saying that we took it from Lord Mountbatten, we sprinkled it with holy water, then we handed it over to Nehruji. But the Adhinams obviously are a bunch of liars, according to Dr. Suman Siraman, or they are members of the BJP, and they are all lying. Where is your photo?
No.
Where is the photo?
They are going
On
by
the
the same
14th of
reports,
August
Padmaja.
1947, why didn't you
Padmaja.
photograph Lord
Padmaja.
Mountbatten, Tuin Sinha? Where is the photo?
Padmaja, so appalling is the intellectual dishonesty of this Congress party that today they are deriding their own legacy of Pandit Nehru and Rajaji. The point is, why is the Congress always so desperate to be seen standing on the wrong side of history? Why is it so desperate to always denigrate,
Sir, Rajaji's
emblems of our
grandson is
cultural
saying
legacy?
Congress
The-
is not
the
saying
point
it.
is-
Rajaji's great grandson, C.R. Kesavan,
No,
is saying that he has heard about it.
So you don't.
You choose who you want
must
to
have
listen
heard
to,
about it
sir.
because he
Because
wouldn't have
as
heard
they say
about
in
it.
Hindi,
Slike, he's joined
Jati
the
rahi
BJP
bhavna
now, so
jaisi.
he must have heard about it.
You want to listen to people who will tell you
Padmaja,
what you
let me
want
come
to
to the
hear.
main point over
Anyhow,
here.
let Tuin Sinha
Let
finish
me
his
come
point.
to the.
Let Tuin Sinha finish his
Let me
point.
come to the main point over here. Let me come to the, Suman C. Raman can go on and on of what the Sengol stand for. Point over here is that their fundamental opposition or their fundamental distortion of the truth of Sengol arises out of the fact that the Sengol is rooted in Hindu civilizational identity. And that is the reason why they will go round and round in circles to manufacture excuses to disown it. In fact, the way Nehru relegated it, Nehru or the congressmen after him relegated it to Anand Bhavan as a walking stick is a cultural scandal of gigantic proportions perpetrated by the Congress party, for which the Congress is answerable to the country. And today, they are finding excuses to go round and round to disown it once again. I think it is about time the Congress chooses to stand on the right side of the law. It is about time it owns up to the cultural emblems which it has consistently disowned over the last 7 decades.
All right. Now, again, is the discomfort
But where is
with
the
the
need to cook up this
participation
story?
of Pandit Nehru in a Hindu dharmic ritual, Lokesh Jindal? That is
Absolutely.
the only question at this point.
Pandit Nehru was secular in his outlook. For him, all religions were equal. If there was a scepter that was gifted to him, or if any religious belief system that would have been gifted to him on that special occasion, he would have gladly accepted it. He believed in plural ethos, and it was not that there was a specific, he was a Brahmin himself, he was a Hindu. But then he was not someone who was trying to promote a particular religion or ideology. No, trying to associate that special occasion with one particular ideology and religion is something that we protest against. So that event, that particular event happened.
Okay,
That
so
gift
let me
was
give the
given, that
final
was
word to you,
accepted,
Hindol
that's it.
Sengupta. It all boils down to this. Now we are being told that the protest is against the imposition of one ideology through the Sengol on a democratic nation. Is that what the Sengol has come to stand for today?
What ideology is this?
This is
Me, at least it seems slim.
Hindu
Me,
ideology, apparently, or Hindutva ideology.
See, but just to gently point out, the Cholas were not part of Hindutva, came much later, you know, like ancient India, medieval India. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So my point is this. I think everybody should embrace it. We have discovered a beautiful historic thing. It symbolizes a beautiful thing, which is justice. All people who govern this country would be wise to look at it whenever they can and remember they should govern with wisdom and justice. It is very unnecessary to pick a fight about this. Clearly, Pandit Nehru never picked up a fight about this. So there is no need for us to pick up a fight about this. We should all embrace it and really embrace the idea of the Sengol, which is justice. Anybody who unnecessarily wants to fight about this truly is making a mockery of the civilizational ethos of this country. Now, if that's what they want to do, it's a pity. But I don't think there is any reason to quarrel about this. I think it's a beautiful thing. And I, per se, am very glad that from Allahabad Museum, where it was labeled a golden walking stick, it will finally find a beautiful place in the newly built parliament. This is a matter for all of us to rejoice. That's my humble opinion.
All right. And we leave it at that. Agree with it, disagree with it, but to pick fights over something that is just a part of Indian culture seems small-minded. That's it. Thanks very much, all gentlemen, for joining me.